Alexis Nunes alongside Janusz Michallik. Well, it has been 27 years since Aston Villa were able to beat Manchester United in the league at Villa Park. Believe it or not, some of those kids are getting ready to turn 30 soon, Janusz. But today, that streak came to an end. It was actually United enjoying the longest unbeaten away streak in the league for all these years, but it came to an end today. A convincing win by Aston Villa under Unai Emery, who so many people are happy to have it back in the Premier League. 3-1. A lot of the damage done in the first half when United found themselves 2-0 down quite early on. But overall, Janusz, just a very deserving win for Aston Villa.
It really was. And, it's a perfect start. If you and Emery, I'm sure he's going to say that, right? But because you hope for the best, but you never know if it's going to come. Obviously, some change of shape in 4-4-2, which paid dividends. And maybe that's why they were so good in the first half, right? Let's give Unai Emery credit that he often doesn't deserve, right? Because Unai Emery is this pragmatic coach that likes to defend, and he's done so many great things with Villarreal and Sevilla, and by defending for his for dear life. But we know that he can attack. He likes to possess the ball, and he came at United. Let's give him credit. That first goal, absolutely wonderful. Liam Bailey, and a little bit of a counter attack, and second one was think of beauty from Luca Dean.
Yeah,
injured for so long, and hope he's okay because it looked like he came off and did something again. So that's to start with. It's credit due. I can't believe that a massive club like Villa, it took them 27 years to beat Manchester United. I know Manchester United, for many of those years were dominant, but they certainly haven't been as of late. So a massive result for sure. But I'll wait a little bit on that, because after Stevie Gerrard went for nothing. I know Brentford's not Manchester United, but then again, as we've seen, this is just an average Manchester United team.
Yeah, exactly. I think we'll definitely give Unai Emery some time to fully read into it. But massive day for Aston Villa. I'm sure Villa Park is absolutely still rocking now. But we have to be honest. We have to talk about Manchester United. Villa did do a lot right, but United as well did not help themselves. I mean, I said it's okay. We understand you can get shell shocked for going down, 2-0 quite early. But Janusz, even the one goal that they did pull back, we can argue a huge deflection. They were quite lucky to have gotten that. And then Cristiano Ronaldo, all of the talk that has been about him, there's the good, there's the bad, but right now, today, it was a lot of bad, wasn't it?
Ugly. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly, and all of that when you talk about Cristiano Ronaldo. Let's, in a way, I kind of want to give Ten Hag credit because he's doing everything right. So when this is over, and it will be over soon, at least everyone can say that he's done it with the respect that Ronaldo probably deserves, right? By naming him a captain today, although we've seen him midweek, it wasn't great. Today wasn't absolutely horrible, but statistically really bad. One shot on target, not enough touches on the ball. And even in that second half, I think when the substitutions were made at 2-1, Anthony Martial comes on, and then you say to yourself, you have Rashford on the pitch already, who's been likes to play centrally, right? But he's okay in a way. But then you have Martial, and you kind of put him together with Ronaldo. I mean, Ronaldo should have been off then. I don't know if it makes any change, it makes any difference, I suppose. But so with Cristiano Ronaldo, but I think that the problem today was one that I think we all understand, but sometimes we don't give it credit for, and that's Bruno Fernandes. We saw how important he is.
Yeah.
Only leader, the true leader on that pitch when it comes, that leadership on the pitch where you tie in all formations and when you get everybody going and make others better, right? Because last week, I was talking here and I was talking on our Premier League Express show with Kay Murray that in many ways, for me, Christian Eriksen is the most important player. And he is, but Bruno Fernandes needs to be there because we could see today that there was too much cover for Eriksen. It was just too much. He needed to help Luke Shaw, who struggled with Jacob Ramsey and Ali Watkins there and anybody else that was drifting to the right-hand side. And I just think that sitting next to Casemiro is fine. Where further up the pitch, Bruno Fernandes does his thing, and he usually does it very, very well. So that was missing in a team that, this is a Manchester United that can't afford to have, their best players out. Just simple as that.
I mean, I know, of course, we've been speaking a lot about Cristiano Ronaldo. And, just 2 weeks ago, I spoke to Ander Herrera and he said, at the end of the day, you have to give this man credit. I think anybody would at least run the risk or the gamble of having a aged Cristiano Ronaldo on their team as opposed to not. But as it stands, with now 2 months to go until the January transfer window, is it becoming apparent that Manchester United probably need to part ways with him in January, or can they afford or still get something out of him for the rest of the season? Because as we said, today was another level that we're not used to seeing Cristiano Ronaldo at, and it is painful to see.
I mean, he needs to go in terms of when. I think when somebody comes in and takes him, right? If in January there's they've been trying to do that. They just haven't been able to do it, right? Because he comes with a lot of money. It's not a question of a transfer, but how much money he makes. And of course, no matter where he goes, he feels that he needs to play all the time, regardless if he plays well or not. So that's an issue. But the problem is obvious. In order for Manchester United to move to the next level, you need this sort of personality out of your club. And I don't mean it that it's necessarily all negative. We know what happened. Want to go on the pitch. That's just frustration of a superstar. I to a degree, I can understand that. But, as you go forward, that's not going to change. In his mind, he's still one of the best. He still wants to do it. And we all know that Manchester United just simply has to move on. Nothing is Cristiano Ronaldo. He's done so much for them, in particular when he first came there. But, also Manchester United, as I said before, they don't owe him anything. They really don't. So they need to look after their club and how they rebuild this formidable side that was once arguably the best in the world.
Well, funnily enough, Aston Villa do face Manchester United again this very week in the League Cup. It is coming up. Villa, I'm sure, will be feeling confident after today, but for the short term, because Erik Ten Hag's going to know that fans are going to want a reaction after this, and what perfect way to get a reaction against these familiar foes, if you want to call it. What can they do in this short turnaround to get this right, at least for the next game against Villa?
Well, again, make the right decisions right now. I think we know that Erik Ten Hag initially made a lot of tough decisions, and that included Ronaldo, included Harry Maguire. But we saw what happened against Real San Sebastian. I mean, Erik Ten Hag lost his mind in the second half. None of the substitutions and formation made any sense. And I'm not even talking about Harry Maguire.
You're not a fan of Harry Maguire up front.
I can understand, as crazy as it sounds, that one is to be understood, because we've seen him do that when he started in the past, where you needed ball, you put him up there. So that's actually not even what I'm talking about. It's everything else. It's just players playing out of position, and quite frankly, players not understanding where they were supposed to play. They're just looking at each other and saying, okay, what does that mean? Are you in front of me or behind me? So I just think you keep it simple. Bruno Fernandes being back is going to help that. And from now on, I think really Ten Hag has to be tough again and just play the players that are best suited to their position and that are informed. Because, as much as you think they're moving up a little bit, then slipping away. And you see what's happened. Arsenal is informed. Manchester City are Manchester City. New power, make zero mistakes about that in Newcastle, going third, just beating the Saints 4-1 away from home, right? And, and then there's that group of Spurs, Chelsea, Manchester, and by the way, I don't think we've seen the best of Liverpool just yet, and you will see Liverpool moving up the table at some stage when they get the band back as well, because there's more quality there than on Manchester United, for example.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.